Hey, DeRacers, we got permission to share with you what testnet looks like so you can get a sense of what is coming in this first wave of new features from DeRace. And with that, much of the ecosystem is changing on an economic order, so that way you finally have the true play to earn capabilities. So diving into this right away, let's talk about the most simple form of making money in this game, of passive income. So passive income in this game, the best way of doing that realistically is just to buy Dirk and you stake it on the website and you earn liquid love. It will take some time, but there's a built-in calculator. Many of the players do this. Liquid love is a very important element to the game because it's what you use to breed. So the people like us that play this game way too much, we consume a lot of liquid love. So if you stake your Dirk and Dirk is blowing up right now, it's just a good way of sitting back.
Yeah, it's one of the first things that you should do, whether you've got a horse or not. Just get it in there, get it staked, start earning. You can pull it out at any time and use it to play. You can use it to swap and purchase something if needed. But while you're waiting and making those decisions, you can actually be earning liquid love.
The other version is going to be buying an OP. So an OP is what you see down here in the bottom corner of these horses. OPs are going to be associated or assigned to the DJC or the community-owned hippodrome that's going to be coming out very soon. And each hippodrome is going to be 10,000 shares. Each OP is 1 share. Now, why this is important is that everybody that races, we lose 5% to the house, to the hippodrome, and that 5% is going to get sent out to all shareholders. So if you buy an OP, you are going to be able to be a partial owner of a future hippodrome that probably is going to come out this year, it sounds like, but we'll wait for that announcement, of course.
Yeah, and the other thing that you can get with owning an OP is a chance to spin the wheel. And spin the wheel is one of those things that in the game only occurs once a month if you have an OP, but you get a chance to win a liquid love. You can also win Dirk as well, and you get the opportunity to have a no-win. That comes about a lot, but for some of you, it's another way to earn passive income. You own an OP, you get a chance to spin that wheel and have a chance at earning, or winning in this case, a liquid love.
And with that too, Gen Zeros. So when you go out to the open seas market and you're looking to buy a horse in this space, just know that Gen Zeros currently have 2 major benefits to it. One, you get that spin the wheel. So every month you get to spin it, see what you win. 1 Dirk, 3 Dirk, and up to 10 Dirk and a liquid love are the best prizes. The other benefit too is that Gen Zeros can breed. So you could breed that horse, put it on the market. You can rent that horse. So if you have a Gen Zero, you could passively just put it on the rental market for breeding, and you could just hope that people are going to breed with your horse and you'll get paid from that one. So without the need to race, you can do so. You could also breed a horse yourself, flip it, or just expand your stable. But those are the basic ways to play the game. Mostly for the new people, that's probably of interest. But the more important part, the part that we're really excited to talk about, is for those that genuinely want to become a competitor in this space. So with that, this is the exciting part. We get to unveil what this first wave is going to start looking like.
Yeah, this is the new look, and right now we're in a testnet version. So there's most of this is locked down, but you may see a couple of things change between now and when this goes fully live.
So the most important thing to take away on this as we transition to all of our topics is over here on the left-hand side, there's a new section called requirements. And what you'll notice here is that this one says race with equipment, and the one below it, race without equipment. So we all know that wearables are coming, and that's basically what that means. And so when we talk about what this is going to look like for your horse, we're going to send it over to your stable and go take a peek.
Yeah, one of the really cool things about the new look is being able, and this is kind of teased in what we see now. We already see that there's placement for the different elements that a horse can have, different equipment that it can have put on it. What's really cool to me is the look of this when you hover over the different equipment elements. For example, we have stirrups here, or you have boots. You can see what you might earn in terms of advancement for your horse. In this case, I can see a +1 stamina and +22 on focus. And focus is just another word for reaction. And if you click on this, you can actually see all of the different equipment that I have the ability to equip on my horse. Most of them are grayed out at this point. I do not have the ability to put that on, and that's due to the fact that the horse doesn't have this level that the equipment requires. In this case, I have, it looks like one pair of boots that I can equip on this horse, and I have done so, and that's where I'm gaining that benefit from this equipment. The other thing that's really important to point out here is the missions that the horse can do. And the missions is where you're going to be earning things like sugar and experience. And going back up here really quick, I wanted to point out that this horse is a level 16 right now. And when you go to equip it, you need to make sure that the equipment they're putting on fits below that threshold. So earning experience is how you increase that number. I'm obviously on my way to a level 17 on that particular horse. And the way that you do that is through racing, both missions and individual races that you can win.
And to get a sense of this too, so if you see right there, you have the run a single 9 furlong race. If you do that, you'll win 11 sugar cubes and 116 experience. And to give you a sense of what that valuation is over here. This is what the, I guess the exchange or to buy the sugar cubes is. So you could buy them as the spoonful, which would be 100 cubes, up to a bag, up to 865. So 160 dirk estimated right now, and they think that the economic model is locked. So we'll see if this stays true. But 865 cubes for 160 is the cheapest or the most efficient route of buying that. And then from there, you take your sugar that you either buy or you earn, and then you take it to the exchange. And here's your common to legendary. Your cost goes from 60 cubes for the common up to the 640 for a legendary. And then you would need to also match it with a chest. Now, they say that the legendary key can open up any of these things, but I don't see any reason why anybody would buy a legendary key and use it for anything other than a legendary chest. So in my opinion, you're going to see everybody going vertical on this. So realistically, you're looking at 640 for a legendary key, 960 for the legendary chest. And as you buy these things, you then open them up. But as you pointed out, if you don't have the level ups, you're not going to be able to equip it. So you're going to be able to take these items, the ones that you can use or you want to use, equip it to your horses, but there's going to be that marketplace where we're going to be able to sell this stuff off. Which, on that note, I want to talk about now if you have a donkey, because one of the hardest things about this game is how do you make money when you have a donkey? And that's, I think everybody in this field has at least one donkey, and they're benched because you're not going to race them, you're not going to win. You might use them in a competition for some blocking, but realistically, this is the first time a donkey now has value in the game.
Absolutely.
Because with this, if you could go back, can you share those missions that you got again? Let's take a look at these. So like if you have a donkey, it's going to be absolutely vital that you focus on your daily, your weekly, and your monthly missions. It's a little bit brutal. If you miss a single daily mission, you lose your weekly for that week and you lose the monthly for the whole month. So it's going to be important. If you are a donkey owner and you're trying to find value, you need to pay attention to these and very efficiently hit your marks.
Yeah, that's a key word, like efficiency here. When I look at these different horses that I've got, let's pretend that, Nora here is in fact a donkey. We don't want her running anything except for her daily missions, right?
Yep.
I mean, we essentially want her to hit the 5 dirt races she needs. I've already got the turf that she needs, and I need to run a single 11 furlong. Now, I was inefficient here. I should have run an 11 turf, and it would have knocked out 2 of my 3 missions, and then I only needed to run 5 more dirts. That would have been the most efficient way to do this. So if you've got a donkey and you don't want to spend a lot of dirt to race, because it really doesn't feel like it's worth it, you need to maximize your sugar collection through missions. And that's going to be really key.
No, that's a great point, because on that one, if you were to do it most efficiently, what are we looking at? You got 5 there. So you would have ran 6 races. So 6 dirk you would have invested, and you would have walked away with 44 sugar. And so like going back to the exchange, knowing that the cost of that 20 dirk would buy you 100 sugar. So you're already saving more money by efficiently running your donkey in that regard. So that's going to be a major, major, major point for your strategy.
Yeah. So then let's say I'm looking at this horse, this is Derna Preston, and maybe she's not a true donkey. Like,
Mhm.
she's actually an okay horse. I've got a horse that can race on certain tracks, but isn't the best out there. What do you recommend that we do?
Oh, well, I think this is where the wearables are going to become most useful because I have a handful of horses that I would say are okay, but they might have really good reaction, but they might have garbage stamina. So I think this is where we have to get really creative as owners. So if you have an okay horse, you're going to still need to efficiently, I would highly recommend focus efficiently on getting your daily missions in place because that way you can immediately go from that to focus on the tracks that you know your horse is good. You also earn around 600 experience if you win a race. It's something a little bit over 500 for second, and I'm guessing 400 for third. So again, we'll see if that stays. So if you have an okay horse, I think the critical thing is that number 17 next to its head right there of the level. 80 is the maximum level. And as we all get out here and we're competing here, getting to a level 80 means that your horse has the ability to wear any wearable that you find. So if you have an okay horse, competing against great champions that have higher levels, those great champions are going to most likely have better wearables than you. So I think it's a speed game. So with an okay horse, efficiently get your wearables or your missions done, and then switch to just hammering on the tracks that you're good at and maximize the amount of XP that you can get so you could then later equip it with better equipment to compete on a higher scale.
I agree. I think with an okay horse, you're looking to obviously get your daily missions done. You'll be keeping an eye on your weeklies, but those are probably going to come along more naturally just by racing,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're able to run the tracks. In this case, I need to, it looks like, run a synthetic every furlong on a synthetic. Well, if I've got a horse that's not a synthetic horse, this becomes much more brutal to get my weekly mission.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at this as 819 experience points. Like, I have to take a chance and say, okay, well, maybe I need to just knock that out. It's worth, the 10 Dirk or whatever to get all those races done, and then make sure that I get those points so that I can move this horse up from a level 17 to an 18.
Yep.
That may be the key thing for me this week, and that's done, like you said, through doing the missions, but also up here, as we saw previously, on the races themselves. When we open up a race, we need to make sure that we're actually winning these races. So an okay horse is going to want to hit those tracks that it knows it can win because you are going to more efficiently rack up your experience points.
Absolutely. And then I think like the final part about this is, of course, the goal for everybody should be is how do you get yourself to owning a champion horse? And my opinion on this one is I would say an okay horse is a horse that has maybe a podium rate of 20 to 28%. It's okay. Like that's why we're calling it okay. For me, a champion is above 30% podium rate. Realistically, I'd like to even push it higher than that, where
Mhm.
you have high confidence that the horse as it stands can basically print you money. That is an incredible horse to have. And that's, I think, everybody's goal to get to. And once you get to a champion, you have the best opportunity because you can easily, or I think you would more easily get your experience because the races that you run, you're going to win. So you're going to have a choice. Do you want to focus on your missions, which is going to give you a fast acceleration of getting sugar as well as getting your XP? Or are you just going to focus on hammering on your tracks and trying to get those wins and get 600 XP a per? So I think champion horses have some flexibility where okay horses and donkeys can be used to harvest or mine sugar to then feed your champions. But I think we're going to see a lot of people out there that are going to be realizing that some champions are leveling up faster because I think the champion that gets to level 80 first is going to have the highest chance to capitalize on this transition to this first wave of new features.
Yeah, what I'm most excited about with what we're seeing here is the multiple ways that you can now play to earn, right? That's what we're all ultimately trying to get to, is an ability to compete. And for each person, that's a little bit different. For a donkey to compete, it's going to be about trying to finish out your missions. For an okay horse, it's going to be a combination. And for those champions, it's about leveling up as fast as you can. And for some people, you may only have a single horse. You may have, dozens of horses. And your strategy is going to change depending on what you want to do with your okay donkey horses versus others. And I think that there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the community and being built that allows myself, teammates, other people that are in the game, just coming into the game, to be able to play and compete. We want to become competitors, right?
Yep.
That's why we're horse racing. That's a big part of this, is the competition. We've got tournaments coming and a lot of stuff being built that I'm really excited about.
Yep. Yeah. To add to that, so you pointed out perfectly, there's so many more things that are coming. And this is something else that we're seeing on testnet that is exciting. DeRace, I still think that they should have taken more credit for how much that they were working on before they unveiled some of this to us. But they've been working crazy amounts to unveil so much more that's changing in the game. And originally, we were all part of this from launch, where it felt like sitting at a slot machine. And now, as we see, like, this is growing, there's more capabilities, there's more hippodromes, there's more engagement. And then, not like precisely what you said, there's Dirk Army competitions. There's now our sprints and soon to be derbies. There's probably going to be more and more opportunities. We are talking with outside organizations that are interested in sponsoring our sprints. So now it's going to be outside money coming into this game. So that way we can get greater and greater prize pools. I know OXG, SMR, and Brad and Dirk Army have been working on the punting tools, which are going to be able to allow some more engagement from spectators. There's just so many good things coming that, like, I'm personally really excited. I wish I had more Dirk. As it's popping off right now, it's frustrating, but in a good way. But we're still in beta. And so I'm just really excited that as we're coming out of beta, this is starting to make more sense. The DeRace vision is making more sense, and it's all falling in line.
I think this visual, even though it's like a little cartoon gamified version of it, really does paint a picture of how this whole world is coming together, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to see everything from the marketplace to the bank, to thinking about clubs and teams and guilds within the game. Obviously, the hippodrome and the racing itself is a big part. But even sitting next to that, we've got a betting booth here. And a lot of these things are coming soon and going to be part of the full version in the future. But it's exciting to kind of see them all in a single space where we can start to envision yourself going from A to B to C in this world. Yeah.
And for me, I think the most exciting thing is that for the new people that enter this space, it is difficult to there's so much to learn. I mean, we have lots of videos on trying to teach you how to assess your horse and figure this out. It does take skill to understand and assess your horse. And if you show up and you have a horse that you're not very familiar with, and you're trying to discover where it's good, and you're losing money, historically, it would be frustrating, and some people gave up. But with this new change, what's so awesome to me is that while people are doing their discovery, they could be winning missions. They could be finally earning something with a donkey. And I think that that's a major, major milestone, because donkeys in this game were just, in my opinion, kind of a cancer, because nobody wants them and they don't do anything for you. But now they finally have a purpose. And so, and if they don't, if they fail, you could burn them. So that's another thing. We'll just get rid of these things. If it sucks so bad, you don't even want to deal with it, just burn it, get more sugar, and go get yourself a new horse.
And like you started this out with, the ecosystem, the economics of the game have changed in a way that now we should start seeing value increase, because you may be getting rid of those donkeys. And if nothing else, those donkeys actually have a purpose. And so every horse in the game is going to have a purpose. And for some, it's being turned into glue. But for most, it's being able to race and do missions and gather sugar. And that in turn will grow the economics and allow you to sell that off and swap different items and put them on different horses. And hopefully that draws everyone out there to want to grab a horse, grab an Opie, grab 5 horses, and eventually grow your stable.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, this is going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we see this sometime in October. That'd be freaking sweet. But I think it's going to be an awesome thing. Once this thing hits, your horses that you've benched might be able to start racing again.